Yo, this is crazy, man. I'm glad they exposed this, man. Even though it still might go down, but at least they can see, nigga. It ain't us. They be.
So did y'all hear about Google settling that lawsuit with their Latino employees who said that they were discriminating against them by hiring and promoting Anglo and Asian staff over them?
Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. I haven't been so quite active, but now I'm back. So today we are talking about a study that sounds positive on the surface, but once you dig deeper, it raises some major questions about fairness, representation, and accountability inside one of the biggest companies on earth. Google recently agrees to a $20 million settlement with Latino employees who alleged discriminatory pay and promotion practices. That sounds like progress, and in many ways it is. Workers stood up, they were ahead, there was accountability. But there's a part of this story that's barely being talked about, and that's the absence of black employees in this settlement. If Google had systematic issue around pay and promotion for one group, why didn't black employees come forward or weren't included? This isn't about the missing one group claim, it's about asking why only one group was represented and whether other impacted groups were left out due to the legal strategy, fear, or something else entirely. This raises bigger questions about how discrimination is identified, who gets counted, and who gets justice. So, in today's video, we are going to break this down from every angle: the legal side, the social side, and the broader implications. And yes, we are going to play the clips that explain the story. But first, let's get into what this really means.
Yo, this is crazy, man. I'm glad they exposed this, man. Even though it still might go down, but at least they can see, nigga. It ain't us. They be sending other people after us like some rabid dogs. It'd be crazy. Because we just don't got the heart to be doing that to people, man. Some of us do, but a majority of black people don't. That's why people do shit to black people a lot of times, and they would rather do shit to us than anybody else, because 9 times out of 10, it ain't no major consequence. Like, you know what I mean? We might come through and whoop your ass, but we ain't gonna come after you with no machetes or nothing and chop you up in a bodega like some other people. Or we ain't gonna go and poison your whole family and shit like that. You know what I mean? It just ain't no major consequences. We'll whoop your ass and then call it a day.
Y'all almost broke my ankle running over here to come snitch on Google. Did y'all know that Google just paid out a settlement for unfair wages and unfair pay and advancement, career advancement? The settlement, they were sued by someone who was of Latino descent, Mexican, Indigenous, Native American, Pacific Islander. But the settlement payout was contingent upon black people not being included in the settlement. So Google just paid out for DEI, for like a DEI settlement, and basically said, we'll pay as long as this settlement excludes black people. We'll pay everybody else except the black ones. I swear to God. I swear to God. Let me show you. You can see Google has agreed to pay Latino employees a $20 million settlement, which, by the way, $20 million spread across all Latino employees that they have. They have hundreds of thousands of employees, whether they work at home or work in the office. But okay, $20 million. I ain't knocking no extra coin for nobody. Okay, but I feel like they definitely shortchanged y'all. Okay, and they have a way of doing that by ensuring that they exclude the people that's going to speak up for the collective, because 20 million definitely ain't enough. But a 20 million settlement, as long as they did not allow black employees to be included, says the judge over the class action lawsuit. Now, here's the crazy part. The initial lawsuit that was submitted, right, was by a woman of Mexican descent, and she was submitting this lawsuit including people of color that are black, brown, whether you are Pacific Islander, darker tones, Pacific Islander, Latino, Native American, and Black people, right? So people of color, okay? People on the other side of the brown paper bag test. They said, we will pay you as long as you leave them niggas out of there. Not the niggas. Not the niggas. So as you here you are. So the agreement with Google, a unit of Alphabet, which is the parent company or headquarters, won the preliminary approval last week from Judge Charles Adams of Santa Clara County Superior Court in California. He called the settlement fair, reasonable, and a good result for the class of at least 6,632 people employed by Google in California between February 15th, 2018 and December 31st, 2024. Google spokesperson Courtney Messini confirmed the settlement Tuesday, but said we continue to disagree with the allegations that we treated anyone differently, which there's been a long-standing battle with like Black people speaking about their experiences and how they're being treated by leadership in Google. And it's not just Black people, it's literally people of all races that are speaking about the discriminatory practices that Google exercises well within the framework of their leadership and the hierarchy inside. And how while the money is good, you gonna pay for it in your soul. Okay, you gonna pay for it. You gonna suffer is what they're saying. The allegations that we treat anyone differently, they're trying to beat those and they're denying them and remain committed to paying, hiring, and leveling all employees fairly. But baby, you've had numerous lawsuits about how unfairly y'all treat your workers, and you wouldn't have settled if you genuinely believed in your heart that you have non-discriminatory practices that of which is written out in your handbook. But just because it's written down in black and white and got your John Hancock on it, that don't mean that you actually walking in that, right? So the lawsuit was led by Anna Cantu, who identifies as Mexican and racially indigenous on behalf of Hispanic, Latinx, Indigenous, Native American, American Indian, Native Hawaiian, Pacific Islander, Alaskan Native employees at Google. This previously also included the lawsuit also included Black people, basically. And they said the only way that this gonna go through is if you drop the niggas. And they just settled out. Judge Adams said that the settlement came after Cantu's lawyers agreed this month to exclude Black employees. They just agreed this month. Okay? This settlement started. The action started back in 2021. It's 2025 going into 2026. They're just now this month agreeing to drop the Black people out, which means that they were literally fighting her tooth and nail. Remember, it says that Google asked for them to leave the Black people out of it from the start. From the start of this entire process years ago. They just now agreed to drop the Black people off of it. Which means that her lawyers, Anna Cantu and her lawyers, they was like, no, like, one for all for one. So I don't want y'all coming at Anna and her lawyers type crazy. They held on to the last possible second, okay? Don't come at them type crazy. If you really read this, it's not saying it directly, but you can tell they just got approved. So that means this last month was when they finally agreed to do it, which means more than likely after all these years, Google was putting pressure on them so that they wouldn't have to either A, pay out the settlement at all, or B, they could, continue to tie them up in the litigation and stress them out until they just dropped the case. So they had no other choice at this point in time. They kind of had like no other choice but to, and I'm not completely mad at that. It's a sucky situation and position being all the way around. However, it's still shitty. It's still shitty all the way around. It's just a real shitty situation. So the net settlement proceeds is $20.4 million. That's before the lawyers get paid and all the other fees get paid. After deducting the $7 million for legal fees and penalties tied. So you're going to do 20 minus 7, that's 13.4-ish million. Somewhere between 12 and 13 mil, split between 6,632 people. And then you subtract the taxes from that. It's almost like you shooting yourself in the foot for even so much as, you know what I mean, wanting to be equal or having to go against having Black people included. Because had those Black people been included, baby, the piece would have been bigger. I promise you, the piece would have been bigger, which is why they convinced y'all to go against your own best interests. That's why they was begging y'all to not add Black people in there. Because once you added the Black people in there, we would have forced them to give a much bigger piece. What you really deserve. for being excluded. Now, the reason why the lawsuit exists is because Anna noticed that despite her long work, her exemplary work, consistently getting, gold stars, 5 stars, yada, 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 she was being consistently passed up for promotions and acceleration within the company and bonuses and raises next to her Caucasian and Asian counterparts. And she's looking around and realizing that she has not only seniority, she's tenured in, but she has, a clean record, 5s across the board, you know what I'm saying? Exemplary work. And she done given like everything within her, but she's getting passed up for promotions, bonuses, and raises that rightfully already she deserved. They coming up with excuses as to why they can't give her a bonus or a raise. So long story short, Google been trifling. They gonna always be trifling. They gave y'all pennies. I feel like the amount that you got in the settlement is nowhere near the amount that they owed you and y'all deserved. Know that it's always gonna be the devil. The devil does not have to hurt you or do any kind of tricks towards you or do anything by his own hand. The devil's number one trick is to convince you and trick you about your own shit. Y'all rightfully deserve, because God only knows how long. That's from 2018 to 2024. So that's 4 plus 2. That's 6 whole years worth of money that you should have been getting. I guarantee you that 13 million split between 6,000. Hold on. That's less than $2,000 per person. And that's before taxes. Let's see how much it is after taxes. That roughly brings you to a total of $1,567.68. $1,567.68 per person for 6 years of being passed up on thousands of dollars for a promotion. Now, when you look into the position you really should have been given, and you calculate the difference between the salary you have now and the salary you should have been getting, and you factor in the bonuses and the raises, the 10 to 20% raises, 25%, I believe 25 to 50% in California, that comes to anywhere between 20 to 30K that you're missing out on. Not just you, but all 6,630 something odd people. Not everybody would have gotten it, but if you break that down to, let's say, less than 10% of y'all, that's roughly about 600 of y'all that is thousands, tens of thousands short. The devil's number one job is to trick you out your spot and to get you to settle for less than what you deserve. My God on today, Lord Jesus.
What's the one stat that best indicates rampant racism right now, present day? That stat is $500 million a year settled in discrimination class action lawsuits. Google being the most recent, facing wage discrimination. $28 million case for Latinos, $50 million case for blacks. Just like the State Farm class action I posted a few days ago, Google nor State Farm has racist policies. They just have a lot of closet racists working for them. The failure of these companies is to operate under the idea that we don't live in a racist society. Therefore, these people don't need a watchdog to hold them accountable. They were naive to think that their management wouldn't look across the desk when it's time to negotiate salary or yearly increases, see a black or Latino employee, and subconsciously feel like they inherently deserve lesser and that whites inherently deserve more. There were so many isolated incidents of racial discrimination that it reached a systemic scale. The Equal Pay Act, though noble in theory, has no checks and balances, so companies get away with wage discrimination for years and often never gets held accountable. That's why I want to author a bill called the Fair Wage Transparency Bill, which I introduced in this book. It would require large corporations to publish a breakdown of average pay based on race and gender. This bill would ensure that pay is fair on the front end, and generational wealth wouldn't have this disproportionate gap. I just wish I had time to make this happen. Do you think this bill is just what we need?
Let me duck real quick. Say Google has agreed to pay Latino employees a $20 million settlement as long as they did not allow black employees to be included, says the judge over the class action lawsuit. This is a chess move. This is divide and conquer. I'm just saying like this. It's divide and conquer. Why? Because the Latino and black people, it's the same people. It's either you gonna sell out your brothers and your sisters or you're not. Is you gonna take the money or is you gonna stay united with your people? They showing you they don't fuck with you. They don't. My people, black and Latinos, same motherfuckers, right? No, the world don't fuck with us, dog. It's just time to rebel. It's just time to say fuck them too. Like, can we say fuck them too? Like, that's all I'm waiting on. Like, I'm ready when y'all. Like, I'm gonna tell y'all every day. We gotta unite and say fuck the world, man. Like, how long is y'all gonna take the disrespect? Like, feel me? I'm on Divine Time. You see that 777 on the repost? You know what I'm saying? I'm divinely guided. I'm on motherfucking time, feel me? But I need y'all to be on time. Can we say fuck the world? And you know, it's gonna get worse from here. I'm telling you right now, if you don't get up and say fuck the world, it's gonna get worse from here. You know this. You see it's gradually getting worse. It's not getting better unless you're gonna do something. Okay? So, you know what I'm saying? Google don't fuck with you. The government don't fuck with you. Your job don't fuck with you. The whole world don't fuck with you. It don't fuck with us. You know what I'm saying? So we gotta fuck with each other. We can't stop trying to cater to a world that don't fuck with you. That's the problem. The problem is we're trying to cater to a world that don't fuck with us. That's where we fucking ourselves up. Oh, and it's only gonna get worse because we said catering to the problem. We catering to the problem, making the problem go longer than we need to. We end this right now. We end this less than a week. You can everybody can leave their job, especially us, especially. Come on. You, the battery, the main reason this thing is operating. If you take out the battery, if you remove yourself, if we remove ourselves, this will fall. They can't stand on their own. They need you. Just like I need you to lead the job. You know what I'm saying? Feel me?
This lawsuit against Google opened up a can of worms. Google just exposing all kinds of flaws in this system against black Americans. So this Latina filed a class law action suit against Google. And she was like, I want to include black Americans also because they face the same discrimination as the Latinos and the indigenous people that was working at Google during the time. Right? So on her classification, she marked indigenous as race, like racially she's indigenous, and then as her ethnic group, she marked Mexican. Google was like, hold up, you're going to need to exclude black Americans from that lawsuit because they don't meet the classifications. Black Americans are only a race. They're not recognized as an ethnic group. And plus you can't represent them. If not, we're just going to dismiss this. And the judge agreed to it. That was over the case. So this just brings me back to the disadvantages of just being classified as a race. Legally, black Americans are only recognized as a race and not an ethnic group. So what does that mean? That means that you're one-dimensional. Whereas somebody could mark black for certain programs as race, and then they could also mark their ethnicity for other programs. So for example, if they say, hey, we got this scholarship for black people, a Nigerian can sign up for that program, but then they can have specific programs specifically for Nigerians. They could also sign up for that program too. Whereas you as a black American, you could only sign up for what's ever for the racial box. And have y'all noticed when there's lawsuits, when black Americans do lawsuits, it's only race, right? If it's something discriminatory against your race, you only could put race. You can't put ethnicity because black Americans are only recognized in this country as a race, which put us at a disadvantage. Very one-dimensional. Meaning like when they do these studies, they're not just studying specifically the impacts of what happened towards black Americans, but all black people. So yeah, somebody need to get the U.S. Census and the EEOC to recognize black Americans as an ethnic group, because if not, going to remain one-dimensional.
So Google agrees to pay 21.6 million in racial discrimination lawsuit. What it is basically, it's a lawsuit basically alleging that white and Asian employees received a better pay and career opportunities than workers from other ethnic backgrounds. Listen, the case was filed in 2021. All I'm gonna say is this, right? This is very normal. I can only talk from a black man's standpoint. We are at the bottom of the food chain. I say this all the time. We are at the bottom of the food chain, and unfortunately, we can stop. We can even go as far as talking about football coaches when we're talking about in football. Premier League, is there a black coach? Like, do we even get opportunities like that? Like, let's just be honest. Like, when we're talking about big company corporations or just any job in general, places where they can come up with their own sort of, like, should we say, wage. Like, this ain't like Sainsbury's, yeah, where you all work on a shop floor and it's everybody that's a sales assistant gets £7.50 an hour. Google creates their own opportunities and their own roles and etc, etc, etc. And it can even say the same in football. We hear a lot about it in presenting, where I think it was Match of the Day came out of scrutiny a couple of years ago because wasn't it Gary Lineker was on whatever he was on up in the millions, and then there was a couple of chicks on like 100k for the same thing, doing the exact same thing. It's crazy. So you could put it down to Gary Lineker is Gary Lineker, and maybe the girl ain't as a bigger profile as Gary Lineker. There's always an argument. We've had women talk about that in women's football where they argue that they should get paid. But listen, do you lot bring in the ticket sales that the men's do? No. Do you lot generate the kind of money that men's sport do? No. So there's an argument there. Google, on the other hand, broski. It should be if you're good enough, pay them. There's no I got 10 million followers, you got 1. Do you know what I mean? Like, pay the mandem. So 21.6 million, y'all had to pay that out. Hopefully every man got the little check and piece that they needed. But how do you feel about Google paying 21.6 million in discrimination lawsuit? And I got a question for y'all. Have you ever been in a job position where somebody gets paid more than you, but it's the exact same position? Comment that below, I want to know.
Okay, let's talk about what this all really suggests. A settlement like this is a big deal, especially in Silicon Valley, where lawsuits often get buried or swept under the rug. Latinos employees want real money and recognition of harm. That's important. But the bigger question is, why didn't black employees join the settlement? Was it because black employees weren't affected in the same way, or they were afraid of retaliation, or they were told to file separately, or was something else going on entirely? And this is where the conversation gets uncomfortable because we need data and transparency. If there were disparate risks affecting black employees but they didn't get included, that's a serious issue that deserves its own investigation. And before anyone says Google took the right steps, let's be clear, settling one lawsuit doesn't fix systematic problems. True accountability means everyone harmed gets justice, not just one group. So the real takeaway here isn't the $20 billion, it's the questions this settlement fails to answer. What do you think? Was this exclusion intentional, or is the media missing something? Drop a comment below, and if you want more videos like this breakdown corporate justice and workplace fairness, hit that subscribe button. Stay woke, stay informed. I will see you in the next one. Thank you.